Welcome to Fine Living, presented by Jim Reif Builders on 1240 Radio WOMT.
And good morning, Lakeshore, and welcome back to Fine Living here on 1240 Radio WOMT each and every Monday morning with the one and the only Jim Reif from Jim Reif Builders.
Morning, Terry.
How are you, my friend?
Good. Thanks for the great introduction.
Hey, a great man and a great company deserves a great introduction.
Well, thank you.
Today we are talking about insulation techniques.
We're in the middle of July, but, you can never start thinking about insulation,
We do. And we're going to educate listeners about the importance of understanding some of these techniques.
That's correct. First of all, any project, whether it's a new home or an addition, is going to be governed by codes in regard to the amount of insulation you have to put in.
Okay.
So you have to meet certain codes and actually have to run it through a computer program to determine that.
And I would imagine these codes have changed throughout the years.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. They have actually become more stringent, which is, I guess, good because they're saving more energy that way. So they've become more stringent and they've changed. But so I thought I'd break it down in kind of the areas where we do insulate.
Okay.
For example, foundation. People may not think about insulating that, but it's real important to insulate around your foundation. And typically that's done by a sheet-type foam placed on the exterior of the foundation, usually 1 inch or 2 inches in thickness. It varies, again, depending on how the computer model will change that, shows up and requirements you'll need. So you can do that. Underneath the basement floor, there's an opportunity to do that. Not everybody does that, but it sure is a good opportunity to put that underneath the basement floor.
What's the advantage of?
It's going to keep the basement warmer because average ground temperature is somewhere about 55 degrees. So you can insulate that and warm that concrete floor up to 65, 68 degrees. That's to your advantage. You're saving that much more heat because it will go one way or the other. So
and that is something I would imagine has to be done before anything is. And that's early on in the stages.
Correct. Before the concrete floor is poured in place, want to determine that. And you can do it either with 2 inch or 1 inch or 1.5 inches. There's many different sizes to use. A lot of people do it underneath the radiant floor because they put the tubes in the concrete, and that's real important and to reflect the heat up. But you can also do it without it because it'll still keep, again, that floor warmer.
Okay.
Floor system, that's usually the space from the top of the foundation wall to the bottom of your floor sheathing. Some people refer to it as the box joist. So in between there, R19 is kind of typical in that area.
Okay.
So that's kind of a good.
What about walls?
Walls, lots of different opportunities here. You have the typical bad insulation with R19 or R21 insulation, and the R factor is a resistance factor that it's gauged by. Some people use a cellulose blown-in blanket where they actually put a netting on the wall and then pump in like a loose fill insulation. It packs real tight. It's got a little binder in it, like a little adhesive, so it sticks together. So that's an opportunity to do there. We also would seal any holes in the plates or the wood from wires or mechanical ventilation or pipes. Okay. So that's all sealed around and caulked around. We also insulate around the windows and doors. The old method was to put the pink or yellow fiberglass around there.
Sure. Now
we do it with foam.
Okay.
So that's a different thing.
Do people insulate their attic?
Oh, definitely. You have to in Wisconsin, or it's going to be really cold. So in here, not only do we have the insulation, but we also have ventilation is a real concern. So we'll typically put a proper vent in. And that's typically like a styrofoam or plastic device that allows air to travel from the soffits up to your ventilation in the roof, which may be ridge venting or box vents, and get that out. So that's important, and that goes in, and the insulation is shut off because the trusses are raised a little bit to allow for more insulation in. And then in most cases, people blow in the insulation after the sheetrock is hung.
Okay.
So that's pretty common.
Now, I've seen some foam or some spray insulation foams.
Yes.
What is that?
That's an advanced insulation techniques that are available, and you can get it in several ways. In an attic seal process, where we hang the sheetrock. Before we put any other insulation in there, then we go in and seal around all the penetrations, like wherever your lights are hanging from the ceiling, holes over the plates. So it creates a draft stop around all those areas. Then we put the regular insulation on top of that. In walls, we can do several different things. We can spray 1 inch or inch and a half foam inside between the studs, and then put in the R19 bat besides. Or in some cases, some builders are putting sheet foam on the outside of the house too, to create more insulation there also. And then if we do these advanced insulation techniques, which is really important and a great method to use, we also can spray that box joist in the basement where we typically put a bat insulation in. The foam provides a good vapor barrier too, resists moisture, so it's just a really good product overall.
Jim, a lot of great information. 5 minutes on insulation.
Yeah,
but hey,
we could go longer, but and
I think it's just important for listeners to understand and realize that hey, when they're working with Jim Reif Builders, they're working with a team of experts that know the ins and the outs of the industry.
And that's real important, Terry. I can't say that enough.
Where can they go to reach you guys?
Give us a call, 684-6899. We can come out and take a look at your project or discuss your project. You can look us up on Facebook, and we're also on the web, jimreifbuilders.com. We've got a great website. You'd love it.
Jim, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Terry.
Thanks for listening to Fine Living, presented by Jim Reif Builders, the leader in new construction and remodeling here on the Lakeshore. Let their vision enrich your lifestyle. Tune in again next week for another episode of Fine Living on 1240 Radio, WOMT. To learn more, visit jimreifbuilders.com.